Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Propagandacast for the Shadowverse episode here, back with the Token Tempo deck, which has actually seen quite a few revisions since last time. Basically, I found it sort of was too fast, but at the same time, it just struggled to push through control decks and at times other meshes as well. So it went through a lot of revisions, and I ended up actually making it way too slow. And I sort of made it faster again, adding in, more one-drops. In fact, I mean, added two Mentor's teachings in, just sort of give it more card draw, but also just a bit more punch whenever needed. That way I can sort of cycle through the cards a bit as well. They're making it a little bit faster as well there. I've added in Fearless Banneret for token purposes, but also psychological purposes. It's a card that can draw the wrath of some players abnormally much, which can help you save other cards. And it also punishes those that ignore it. Down to one Pompous Princess, and Ruthless Assassins have been added in since they combo well with a few other cards. It could allow me to quickly clear out some of the bigger taunts, which was one of the issues I was actually having, big taunts. So in that regard, Ruthless Assassin, while a bit specially clad, is quite handy. Drop down a few of these, because I added in these two, and the problem was I always risked just getting too many 4-drops when I didn't need them. So I think, the optimal number of 4-drops is 6, at least for this kind of deck. And I snuck in Royal Banner simply because my deck was sort of, again, running out of value. Royal Banner, I think, is sort of very much helpful with that. So you can also use that one as a combo with Shadow Assassin. Got a big board, it's hidden. Next turn you play Royal Banner. In fact, I dropped Sage Commander for Royal Banner simply because Royal Banner is faster. And of course you might say, but that leaves you less room for pulling off the perfect enraged general combo. And obviously yes, but on the other hand, if turn 4 you don't have it here, can't play it, you can always play Royal Banner or Shadow Assassin instead. So basically Royal Banner gives me another turn, going first plan, which is always a very important thing to have. Plus it looks cool. Just look at that. Fire, wind, banners, a lot of angry looking knights there in the background. Rawr. I really like the animated version there, by the way. Added in Avan Blader because one issue was I was running out of resources quickly, so Avan Blader ensures I get more of that as well. And then I also snuck in a single Cyclone Blade. Just in case. It has proven occasionally helpful. Got a big nasty board against you, and you just Cyclone Blade it to see those blighters what for. Of course, I'll be posting the deck list, but I just wanted to explain, some of the changes I made to my deck. But I got a few fights coming up, one sort of regular, and then 2 replay fights, I think, sort of further highlight the potency of Royal Banner and why I have ticked it in, and why there might be any further players to consider it. So, this is Imperial Dane signing off, and, hope you enjoy the fights. Haven. Second. Hope I get a 1-drop. I don't run 6 of those for nothing. My opponent seems to be thinking very hard over something. No 1-drop. Nothing on turn 2. Hello, that's Stormhaven. I've been seeing a resurgence in Stormhavens as of late. I think it's part because the meta has been slightly slowing down. There might also been some changes there, but it's definitely making an appearance again. I haven't really sort of largely seen it for months, but it's definitely making a comeback. In this case, it just seems to have had a really bad hand, sort of a Stormhaven to start out with. Normally they want some of this cheaper and bigger stuff sort of play out early and then sort of fall into some bigger things, but right here they just haven't gotten it. I can actually play an Enraged General on turn 4. In fact, fun thing here, I in fact envisioned initially Enraged General to be used against Stormhaven. That's the fun thing there. I envisioned it initially to be used against that. So there we go. Take that, you bold bastard. Try you cudgel that one. In fact, I'm presenting lethal right now. So he has to deal with it. He could trade into it. Maybe he's got another cudgel, which he likely has. He will sort of trade in, deal with that. Yup. Then he'll cudgel that. Nope. What on earth is that? That's a new one. Normally not part of that package. I'll evolve that. Cart there, trade into that. So what on earth could this be then? I mean, it's gotta be Stormhaven of some sort, maybe a weird variation, just... Huh. Ancient Lion Spirit with Stormhaven. I guess it makes sense. Allows them always to control the board and remove anything that could stop them. That's definitely a new one. But it's clearly, I think there's also some kind of complication there with his hand. Or her hand. Because there's a lot of thinking there going on, and initially again there's like 2 turns where nothing happened. And you don't see Divine, you know, bird thing there played outside of Stormhaven. It has no real usage there. So I wonder what's going on there. I guess there's a lot there now, but just can't utilize them. And play at the cudgel there when you didn't need to. Huh. A lot of thoughts there, really, a lot of theories. Dance of Death, yeah, that's Stormhaven again. You don't see that one played. Again, I'm saying it a lot, you don't see that one played outside of... So obviously that doesn't mean an awful lot, but that's rather the gist of it. I think what I will do, and hope they don't have another board clear, is play that one. Play that. Play that one. I mean, I could regret it, but I'm assuming the recent, you know, Dance of Death was utilized because they didn't have Temir's Decree on other Ancient Lion Spirits. So, with this, I get a bit of a headache. I mean, if it does have Temir's, I've just wasted my last evolution, but if not, I've set up a really tiresome board for them to deal with. Because I got 5, 7, 8 damage, which means I've almost got lethal. In fact, there's of course there's the third, yeah, the Shadowed Assassin, but I'm not expecting that one to survive. There you go, he's pulling up more things. If he gets an Ancient Lion Spirit, my board's going to be mostly dead. But if not, I win. Of course, he can't target most of the board. That one. Yup, Luxwing Reno. This is it, but it's just a really, really weird version. So what we'll do here, I think, is just move that one because it does damage whenever something attacks it. I'll keep the rest. In case. I mean, it's down to 1 health, basically. I just need to either pull a commander I can activate Ruthless Assassin with, Albert, or Quick Blader, basically, or something just needs to survive. And I win. Fancy that. So there we go. Bit of an awkward Stormhaven, but I think sort of highlighted against some of my choices, including the Fearless Banneret, which again, if you somehow manage to combo with Shadowed Assassin, can help you guarantee some extra knights, and again, can possibly cause them to just be unsure. Do they actually want to evolve? Because the thing is, it's just a 1/1 knight. but they just don't want you to benefit from their evolution so much. It can sort of, I think, in case you just trigger some really weird reaction from them. So that's why I run Fearless Banner. It's sort of the part, again, it just generates value, generates tokens, which again is what my deck likes, but it just also screws with them mentally. And here we are, first of the replay matches. One to show this one, just sort of highlight the newer flexibility of my deck, which again is sort of what I'm aiming for with the tempo. Again, sort of trying to be able to do as much as possible. Training out a few of the cards. I don't need Mentor's Teaching or Blader. In this case, I get up Oathless Knight, the newly added Royal Banner. Originally, mostly it's just been part of, aggro decks, Specifically, it was called Banner Sword, very aggressive, so on and so on. Oops, hang on, I was just trying to pause it briefly, slow down, think and explain. But generally, sort of part of aggro decks, sort of, pushing forwards that way, giving a lot of sustainability. And one of the things I realised my deck was lacking was sustainability. But at the same time, there's just the thought, I was actually beginning to see, mid-range decks played as well, and sort of kind of thought, hang on, I'm playing a lot of tokens. Royal Banner is pretty good if played with tokens. And right here, I'm starting to get worried about, of course, the Ancient Elf, which is sort of a really big tempo play they can make. But also can just bounce this one. So in this case, I quickly trade with that one. Mostly because, if I take these two, of course, great. Smaller Ancient Elf. On the other hand, he can just draw another Roach with the Goblin Mage. So I ultimately end up with that because I could always just evolve a Ruthless Assassin into the Ancient Elf. In this case, Floral Fencer. Build up a big board, which also will work nicely with the Royal Banner next turn if I have to. Trade in, clear as many of those damnable fairies as possible. Also got a single Cyclone Blade there, just in case. I only run one, but occasionally it can be useful. Now right here, evolve and hit face with the Rhinoceros. And there go, bounce it back. Again, he's only got one. Again, he could have bounced it back the Goblin Mage if they hadn't been careful. Right here, play that one just as a big threat. And evolve here. Pushing him down to 13. Also just overhanging a big board. Go. Fortune Hunter Fina, very much part there again due to the free Goblin Mage gives you. And this is pretty much sort of where look. Oops, hang on, what can I do here? What can I do? Well, I realised that, hey, I've got Royal Banner, I've got a Quick Blader, I got 6 damage there, 3 damage there. Throw in the Quick Blader, that can all of a sudden become 11 damage, then I just need to evolve, and I've got exact lethal. So that's basically what I do here, and there you go. I evolve the Enraged General because I really like the Enraged General. And there we go. GG, game over. And then off to the second one here. Yeah, sorry about all the replay matches, just thought these matches were interesting, sort of wanted to highlight them. Again, not the best opening hand here. Got to quickly trade things out. I don't need 2 Enraged Generals, for example. Shadowed Assassin, always pretty good no matter what sort of Runecraft deck it is, unless it's Earth, right? But you generally rarely see those. Quick Blade out, hit, strike. And Angelic Snipe, which rather quickly tells one that this is most likely going to be D-Shift. They tend to rarely otherwise run it if it's Daria. Well, they run it, but they'll preferably use to damage you. And another Angelic Snipe. Damn angels! Whose side are you on? So in this case, I'm forced to play Naval Lieutenant on a, empty board, but I'm not too concerned about that because, well, it's D-Shift. So in this case, I just play Shadowed Assassin to cover that one up. Meaning it's only Shadowed Assassin going to take the hits, if need be. Mighty Clay Golem appears. Strikes down the Shadowed Assassin, who, while good at hiding others, is not very good at hiding herself. Using the Quick Blade straight into that so it can minimize damage. Evolve him. Good measure. And there we go. Shadowed again, preventing him from clearing that out. And the Ogre. I'm seeing, more increasingly D-Shift decks sort of bringing in Ogres, in part due to a recent tournament list. Basically, they sort of ran a few oak lists. They sort of run as a sort of a threat here and there, just, you know, to ensure they can't, you know, quickly be swept off the board. So they'll just sort of throw Ogle in from time to time, just to sort of, you know, try and throw you off. So that's a bit of a recent addition into the D-shift decks and can be a bit annoying. In this case, though, Albert normally uses a finish, but in this case, I use him to just push more damage. Just want to push 9 damage, pushing our opponent down to 6. Poor Albert gets petrified and then follow up with a piercing rune. And then evolves into that, losing it. But it kind of works out for me. In this case, draw a card first, and then Royal Banner. It's a very, I think, increasingly good card here. I think it's sort of quite handy for swordcraft in general. It sort of unlocks a bit more extra power, and its ability as a commander also allows sort of more regularly trigger certain effects. As you will see here, in this case I get the Ruthless Assassin right on time, which triggers into a Storm minion if there's a commander on board. That was a very common combo by dealing out annoying wards from Banner Sword, by the way. But in this case, it's used to clear out his Flame Destroyer. Rite of Exorcism. As you might notice for D-shift deck, it's actually running into a bit of a rare problem. It's actually run out of cards, which is actually good for me. That is really good for me. In this case, by the way, I make the mistake. I should have meant his teachings first, in which case I could just put them on. In this case, it's actually a bad play from me. And there you go, Rite of Exorcism. Taking a lot of damage here, otherwise I could have played Avant Blader, maybe drawn out some followers beforehand, having a bigger board that couldn't be, you know, just hit with a Rite of Exorcism. And a quick Fearless Banneret, which I've just sort of got there because I think he's got some options there. Partly because it sort of causes players to just single him out because they really don't like it. Because in theory, if they evolve something and he's there, I get a free knight. So just sort of run him as an extra threat. Occasionally works actually, but there you go, trades with the Avant Blader. And in this case, Albert wins the day. In this case, it sort of more highlights just, I think, the potency of, well, Royal Banner, to be honest, more than anything in these decks. Yeah, sort of a quick highlight there. I think sort of, again, shows sort of the power of Royal Banner. And I think, you know, even if it can't be used sort of with pure aggro decks, I still think it has some uses then in Swordcraft alongside things like Shadowverse, and it gives a lot more room for tools. It just allows you to just build more value up quickly and sort of just push for damage harder, which is really the one thing you need to do with increased amount of board clears as well there, and just other things. So in that regard, Royal Banner I think is a pretty good card that might currently be a bit overlooked. Of course, it is also very much a card that some players hate with a passion. So there is that. Very much. Very, very, very much. Bit of a shorter episode, I know, but I just sort of wanted to highlight a bit here since I thought those two matches sort of showed it to an extent there. Also, just still, I've sort of been working at it hard, been changing a lot there, so I haven't sort of been having otherwise much luck with some previous versions of the deck, which were much too slow. But there you go. Hope you enjoyed the episode. If you didn't, subscribe, like, share, and comment on it. I'll be back in another 2 days' time with another episode. Cheers.